Well, good day, my friends. It's your old pal Jordan the Lion. We are in Monroeville, Pennsylvania, and we are back for Steel City Con. Today we are starting at the Doubletree. Daze with Jordan the Lion. It begins right now. 'Tis the season. So the convention is so big that it even stretches beyond what we saw in the last vlogs over to the Doubletree. And over at the Doubletree, they're gonna have some of the actors from Lord of the Rings, as well as the Undertaker, and several others. But I'm only here for the Undertaker because I have a very special belt that I want to tell you about and I want him to sign. So there you can see his image on the outside of the bag. This is a very special, limited to only 50 belts, because this is his retirement belt, his Hall of Fame belt. Now this particular belt is extremely special to me because I found out that the king of belts, Dave Milliken, the man who has the copyright to the Winged Eagle and is the maker of many of WWE and several other organizations' belts, he has a deal where every time they use the Winged Eagle, he gets a copy of the belt. And when they released these 50, they had to give him one. And I went to hang out with him at his house, and I was telling him I was coming to this signing, and he showed me this belt. And I said, what are the chances that I could get this away from you? And he said, you know what, for you, and if you're gonna put it on the channel, sure. So that's how I got this very special belt from the king of belts, Dave Milliken. The cool thing about it is they made an urn right here, and if you look at this section, it's actually a casket. You have photos that you can have him sign, but I needed that belt. It's just too special. So today's the day that I get to get a photo and meet Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo, so that's why I wanted to come meet Undertaker first, because my planned photo with them is at 5:50, and Undertaker is he's starting at 11, signing autographs until 11:45, then going and doing photos for an hour, then coming back and signing. So I want to try and catch him that first 45 minutes. I figured if I'm going to meet him once in my life, because he only does like 1 or 2 of these a year, signings and meet and greet things, I'm only going to do it once. I might as well get a table photo with him. So I'll get a belt signed and a table photo. Look at this guy's beard. He's got bells in his beard. Custom artwork. That is incredible. Yep.
Waiting for it. And then we came out that
While we're waiting for Undertaker to show up, 2 of the actors from Stranger Things are over there signing autographs. All right, Undertaker just walked in the door. Looks like the American Badass Undertaker with the bandana and the hat backwards, so we're ready to rock. It's an ingenious thing to get signed, the urn. I love it. Oh yeah, here we go. Thank you so much, Undertaker.
You're welcome.
Such a pleasure to meet you, man.
And I got that same sweater.
All right, that baby is signed. I couldn't be happier. That looks absolutely amazing. Undertaker right there by the Hall of Fame. Whew. That was a blast. That was so cool to get to meet such a legendary guy like the Undertaker. And then I come out in the lobby right here and I run into Chuck Zito. Take a look at the photo we took together. So now we go meet Chevy and Beverly. My sister got me this a couple of years ago. It's a Randy Quaid signed Christmas Vacation sled. I want to add both of their signatures to it. It's happening at the Monroeville Convention Center right across the street. All right, let's go straight back. I know exactly where they both are. Get the shirt, Christmas Vacation.
No, I understand the time.
Oh boy, this is gonna be crazy. He is this line right over there. Gigantic. Okay, since Chevy has a giant line, because this is first day here over there, I'm gonna hit Beverly first. She was here yesterday, so her line is much smaller. So cool to finally meet her. This guy's dressed like John Candy. And there's Chevy. It's funny, Chevy's been doing bits, like somebody has to shake his hand. When they shook his hand, he acted like he was squeezing his hand, and then somebody had him sign the glass mug, and he acted like he was going to drop it and break it. That's cool. She's even taking a selfie for him.
I don't know where I should be looking, but I'm trying to look you guys right in the eyes, because look who I'm beside. In our little Christmas sweaters, we're at Steel City Con.
And Beverly signed it right there for me. Thank you so much, Beverly. So here are all the photos and everything that Chevy brought that you can buy, but of course I gotta have the sled, even though that one is so tempting. Or so is that one and that one. Chevy's line isn't anywhere near as long now that I've got through Beverly's. This has been such a great day. I can't believe I've met the Undertaker, I've met Mrs. Griswold, now I'm gonna meet Sparky Griswold. This is gonna be so cool.
Here's your pin, my man.
Thank you.
All right, this one.
Nice to meet you, Chevy.
And then he also has a photo, Kate. Kate, he has a photo. Okay.
Thank you so much, Chevy. And there's Chevy Chase's autograph. So I got Chevy, Randy Quaid, and Beverly D'Angelo, and a bingo. The Chewbacca Undertaker. You guys are great. I bought this from Beverly D'Angelo's table, Christmas ornament. There's William Zabka from Cobra Kai and Johnny from Karate Kid. His line is huge. Look, it's Martin Cove.
Excuse me, let me sneak over here. I gotta get a Hey, kids, like you're doing a great job, right?
Sensei Kreese. And there's Christy Brinkley. He's got the Cobra Kai hair. Hawk. A couple of Thors. Hey man, they said no weapons. It's with those hands. So the next Q&A is Beverly D'Angelo and Christy Brinkley together. No Chevy Chase. I was kind of surprised when I saw them bringing Chevy Chase to his table. He was in a wheelchair.
Grab a seat, there's microphones, the switches are on the air.
I know, we're together, we're Chevy's bitches.
So before we get to the questions, when did you know you guys were making a classic comedy? When you first read the script?
We were just talking about that. When did you, you know, we've never talked about this. When you got the script, what did you think?
I loved it. And I couldn't believe that they just said, do you want to do it? And I was like, of course, yes. I had the best time doing this movie because I was the weather day girl, which means that my scenes were the scenes indoors. There weren't a lot of indoor scenes, which is one of the things I love about the movie, right? And so I had to wait till it rained. And it was so sunny, I got to stay on this, I got to stay with the whole cast for 6 weeks to do my little part. It was great.
What do you mean? What do you mean you were the weather girl and you?
They said they were waiting for it to rain because we did that scene indoors in the bar.
Your bar scene, but your other stuff was outside. You were driving the car.
Yeah, the other stuff was outside, but I had
dancing by the car.
But thanks to the bar scene, I got to be there for like so much more of the movie.
It was like it was a road movie, and we were all together for the whole thing. my husband at the time came with me, and he was the one who got me to do it.
Lorenzo,
who's my dear friend, and he's in Christie's scene. He's playing the piano in that scene with the thing. But it was really like a kind of, it was like a family road trip, you know, because we were all together for everything.
Staying in motels and log cabins.
Horrible motels. We really lived it.
And I would go horseback riding while they worked, and whitewater rafting. It was so fun. If the producers knew I was whitewater rafting.
How long did the filming take? How many weeks was the filming? Was it 6 weeks?
It was longer than that.
Yeah.
Because we had stuff that we shot in. Everything was on location except for when we drove through Detroit, and all the home stuff. The house and the finale, and the Wally World was actually in Valencia. It was, oh gosh, somebody might know this. I don't, why am I blanking on
Six
it?
Flags.
Oh,
Magic
what?
Mountain.
Magic Mountain.
Yeah.
Magic, who said that? Magic Mountain. Thank you. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. So it was very much a road trip except for, you know, our family stuff.
What was the premiere like? It's such a crazy...
I didn't go. I was living in Italy. I was married to an Italian dude, and he's the one who told me to do it, because when I read it, I thought, wait a minute, I've just turned 30, I'm supposed to play the parents of teenagers, and I had just done these films. I did Coal Miner's Daughter and got a lot of attention for it. I started a musical film for Hair, and I wanted to be a singer, so I didn't even know if I was going to do this acting stuff, but I knew there was this rule in vaudeville, never work with kids or animals. And so there was a dog that we killed and 2 teenagers, because when you really did, and by the way, anyway, so my husband said, but Beverly, look at this cousin Eddie, he is hilarious, we do it. So thank you, Lorenzo, for everything for that. Okay, I'm going to stop talking.
I want to ask you if I could sidetrack a bit about the singing. The Lurleen Lumpkin stuff. Was there ever a proposed album to come out? The songs are so good.
With Lurleen, I
know.
Lurleen Lumpkin, the singing waitress from Spittle County, who's on The Simpsons, which was really ironic because I started out in animation and I ended up playing a cartoon character 1,000 years later. I think Finally Bagged Me a Homer is on an album from Springfield or something like that. And we also did, at the Hollywood Bowl, we did a whole big show, all singing and all dancing at the Hollywood Bowl, and that was fun too. But no, the singing thing nobody wanted me to sing.
And I don't know if there was a premiere, because I didn't go.
I didn't go either. I remember I think I went to like some kind of test screening in Texas or something.
I went to like I went down to the studio. They had like a very small little screening room, and I watched it in there with a very nice, like a couple press people, a very nice, I remember.
Well, no, I know they didn't show it to the press.
Well, there was a nice guy who did write a column.
Okay, that wouldn't have been a critic, because they did something with this movie. First of all, it was R-rated, and it was satirical. But what happened was, I was in Italy, I got a phone call from my friend, and he said, "You're in the #1 movie." And I went, "What?" And he said, yeah. And then my agent called like clockwork. And I think what happened is that instead of looking at the Griswolds and going, ha ha, aren't they funny? We all watched the movie and went, oh, aren't we funny? Like everybody identified with it. And so there's a character, you know, per person. You can identify with Clark, and that's really why we're here, because Chevy has just inserted himself into our culture. He's a brilliant man. And it's such a fun guy. And really the through line. But so there's Clark, who's just trying so hard to do everything for his family. There's Ellen, who's they always said long suffering. I think she was just into it. My backstory, I don't know what your backstory was, but my backstory, because as an actress I always like to go obsessive and decide who, what, where, and all that kind of stuff. And I decided that Ellen had met Clark in college, that she was that he was her first and only, and that when she took those vows, she really meant them. And so when she sees him with Christy, originally that scene where he comes back into the hotel, and as written, I was supposed to pick up those white shoes and throw them at him. And I was supposed to scream at him, "Is that what you want? You know, do you love her? I'll show you what fun is." And I said to Harold, "Well, now hang on a minute." And by the way, now I'm thinking about that, that would have been cooler. But anyway, but here's what I did, and I'll tell you why. I looked at it and I thought, no, hang on a second. Because I had modeled the character on my mom. Long-term marriage, grew up witnessing a fantastic love affair between my parents. And I thought, now hold on a minute. They're on the road in the middle of nowhere. Everything's going wrong. Aunt Edna has died. I mean, it's just one bad thing after another. But there's one thing that's true. She loves her husband. And she loves her family. So I said, look at what this Ellen's really saying. I want to mean it. Do you love her? Is that what you want? You know, and I wanted that moment. I wanted a moment to really show what love was, because I see the through line of all of the vacation movies as a love story, and that love conquers all. So I chose to play it that way. Plus, I have idolized Christy from the minute I saw her. When you were a model in the beginning, I looked at those photos and thought, oh my God, this is the most beautiful person in the world. And then we met, and I was just charmed, as she's charmed the entire world.
No, but you
and
guys,
I couldn't get mad at him. I couldn't blame him.
When I arrived on the set, my first day, I was so nervous, like I'd never done a movie before, or
it was her billing was introducing Christy.
And we were in like this weird motel, someplace out west.
And it was a dangerous pool.
And I got to my my motel room, and I went in and I sat down and I was like, well, I'm hungry, but do I go eat all alone in a restaurant, or what do I do? And all of a sudden my phone rings. And it's Beverly, and she called me, like the star of the movie called me, little old nothing, in my room.
Well, I thought the opposite way.
And said, you know, hey, I just want you to know, I'm in the room nearby, and if you have any questions, or I'm here for you.
I can't believe I'm so
And
nice.
yeah, and we're all gonna go down and eat, and why don't you join us? And I was like, a friend.
You know, it was that vibe. And also, that was a first time thing. And as I said, it was imagined as a satire, and it was R-rated. So it was only this discovery that all the parents were taking their kids that it started to dawn on everybody, wait a minute, this is really we're making a family film here. So they were PG from that moment on. But I just want to correct something. If you thought you were little old me, I was sitting there going, oh my gosh, it's Christy Brinkley. And then I did think, I wonder if she's okay. But also my husband was going, go Christy, go Christy. She's fantastic, go Christy.
What were your favorite scenes to shoot on the National Lampoon movies, particularly Christmas Vacation? And my second question, Beverly, what can you tell us about your experience on doing Violent Night, another Christmas movie this year?
Okay, I'll make it really fast. Yes, Christmas movies. Number one, my favorite scene in Christmas Vacation, there were a couple of things that are behind the scene things, and it tickled me. The squirrel died. They had a squirrel. Yeah, they had a squirrel who was trained, and it was an amazing squirrel, because that's a whole industry. Animal trainers for, trained animals for movies. And so they had this squirrel that could practically do everything but talk, and he had a heart attack or something weird.
Aww.
So they said, no problem, we'll bring the squirrel to shoot tomorrow, because they kept bringing the squirrel and saying, look, they were training him to climb up the tree and jump on Chevy's shoulder. So they brought a basically untrained squirrel. And that took forever, and we finally, I just remember kind of like standing there, and I remember some conversation, and I just heard there was like, the stuffed one, the fake one, the stuffed one, and the next thing you know, they attached a fake squirrel to Chevy's shoulder, so that if you notice it when you watch it again, when he runs up and down the stairs and everything, That's a fake stuffed squirrel because we didn't have the squirrel. Sadly, that squirrel had died. Also, the exploding turkey scene, the turkey dinner, Randy Quaid cracked everybody up because when Mae Questel is supposed to say the grace, say the grace, you know, she started saying the Pledge of Allegiance, and we're all sitting there, and Randy stands up and goes like this, and I just couldn't keep a straight face. I just thought that was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. Violent Night, it's not called Violent middle of the day when the sun's out. We shot in Winnipeg. The average, and at night, all the exteriors were at night and were real. That wasn't fake smoke coming out of our mouths. We were freezing to death. We had warming tents even for us and for the camera. It was so cold you had to get picked up in your trailer and driven 50 feet to just the sound stage. We were jackets on that. We're all freezing, but a great cast, great camaraderie like we had on the first vacation. Brilliant director. Tommy Wirkola has a background in like horror movies, and that film, for those of you that have seen it, you know, it's got a heartbeat, it's got tons of action, it's got, it's funny, it's like a mishmash. You can't really define it as something.
I have a question right down here. Happy holidays to both of you.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thank you. My question is, Beverly, I read that you used to take Frank Zappa to the set with you, and I was kind of curious about what that was all about.
Frank and his wife Gail and their entire family I was very, very close with them. I considered them my family. And when I was living...
shoes.
And when he's a brilliant, brilliant composer. And when I did European Vacation, we got Moon Zappa to play the American girl in that scene in Piazza Navona. And Moon was still a minor. We put Dweezil in it on a bicycle. But Frank was touring Europe at the time. I was living in Rome, but I met Gail, and then a couple months later, when I was in LA, I went to a function at the Italian embassy, and there was Frank. And Frank was someone who influenced me and was very important to me in my younger life. Again, I was on the trajectory of, you know, being a musician. And it was just like old home. It was like they were very much a family. Both Frank and Gail passed on now. And they were like a family to me. So when I was doing Christmas Vacation, of course it was just a matter of time before Frank and Gail came and visited the set. Frank had done Saturday Night Live after Chevy left, but Frank had the singular, singular prize, I guess, of being told he'd never do it again. Because when it came time for his song, when he was appearing, he did something, the song that he sang was Incendiary or something like that, but he was a brilliant musician. I was actually with him, it was morbid to say, when he died. And that's how close I was to the Zappas. And so it was a wonderful thing. It was great to see Chevy and Frank hit it off, because of course it did. Los Angeles for the reshoot, because he wasn't in the original ending.
Oh, we're talking about John Candy.
And I had a friend who was a drummer in Toto, and he knew who John Candy was from this show called SCTV, and he wanted to meet him. So we shot. John was on that movie for a few times for the second ending, and so we were on the set, and I said, "Oh, I want you to meet Jeff Porcaro. It's nice to meet you. Where are you staying?" He was at the Universal Hotel. So he said, there's a great sushi. Everybody was eating sushi in LA in the 80s, remember that? Before we found out there was mercury in it. So anyway, I said, there's this great sushi bar. It's really close to you. So Jeff and I go to the sushi bar that was close to the hotel John was staying in. And John comes in and he says, "Hey, I'm sorry I'm late. I was working out." Now, you know. And Jeff and I were like, "Yeah, great, good for you." And then he sits down and just says, "You know, what would you like?" Because again, there was like, everybody was crazy about sushi. Like, I'll have the toro, like everyone knew the Japanese was. and he said, I want a double shot of whiskey, which I thought was hilarious, because that was like his, you know, after the workout, down the, I don't know if that relates to the movie, but that's just a funny story. That made me laugh. Yeah. That really made me laugh.
And I mean, it was really the topic of conversation.
She's talking about how she was a boxing photographer.
Having lunch, and all of a sudden I see Muhammad Ali walking down the street. And I was like, I can't believe it. There's Muhammad Ali. I've got to go say hi. And he was with Mike McCormick, who was a big agent in New York City, who had been trying to get me to come to his agency. And so I stood up and I ran out to the steps of the Plaza Hotel, and I was just so stunned, like I love Muhammad Ali, guys. And so I said, oh my gosh, I have been looking for tickets for your fight, and like forever. And he goes, and I've been looking for a girl like you. And Mike McCormick said, and me too, for my agency. He said, and I can get you tickets. And I said, okay, but like, I would really love to be on the apron so I could get some good shots. And so I got like in the front row. And then when I was there, when he lost, we were devastated. We went out in front, we were sitting on the lawn, like wiping away a tear, when suddenly I see Don King. And everybody's going into this door. And so I followed Don King over, and as the door's about to close, I went to the door and I went, oh hi, like this, and I got right through security. And anyway, long story short, I met Randy Gordon of Ring Magazine there. We got to talking, and he said that Marvelous Marvis Frazier was having a fight at the Garden, and would I be the ring photographer? So I went, and I was like the first female to ever go into the dressing rooms in Madison Square Garden after the fight and photograph the guys. And I just got into it, and one thing led to the other, and I covered all the best fights. No Mas, and at the Super Bowl,
Roberto Duran.
like, you know, I shot them all.
Look, the Undertaker made his way over here. Cue the music. Here's AEW star Jon Moxley, formerly WWE star Dean Ambrose. Gilligan? There's Paula Abdul. Her line is just gigantic, so I don't think I'm gonna do that. I have a planned photo with Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo soon, but I wish I could have. Wonder whose autograph he's gonna get. Paula Abdul? Steve Burns? I'm looking at some of the past guest signed photos they have. This one's so tempting. Perfect Strangers. How cool is that? Larry and Balky? $70.
Apparently I just missed Larry and Balky. They were at the last convention here. I know Bronson Pinchot lives pretty close to here in this state. Buckethead! Awesome! Former Guns N' Roses guitar player.
Giant butterfly. Hey Hulkster! Did you do a heel turn overnight? What happened, man? No red and yellow today?
No red and yellow today.
Looking good, man. I love it. How does it feel to be a star in a hit movie?
Good.
I think I've just talked myself into going and taking a selfie with Paula Abdul. Why not? She's forever my girl, isn't that what it is?
So her line starts here, it goes all the way around, wraps around there, keeps going back and forth through there, and then finally gets up there, so that's alright, I got some time. He's looking for Paula Abdul too, I betcha. Alright, I've been in line for about an hour. We're getting close, we're getting closer. Doing selfies with staff. Oh, it's got all kinds of photos to choose from for autographs, including the Opposites Attract photo. So I just want to get a selfie. Alright, I'm next right after this lady.
That was fun. Paula was super cool. When I went up there to take a photo, she put her arm around me, and like when they took the photo, she gave me a big squeeze and said, "Oh, you smell good and you're very festive."
Now that is a first. I have never ever seen a Harry and the Hendersons doll. That is crazy. Never even knew they existed. So now I'm making my way over to get my photo with Beverly D'Angelo and Chevy Chase. Well, we're finally in the home stretch. We're about to meet Chevy and Beverly, but I gotta be honest, it's actually been the worst part of the day because we're over an hour late for taking this photo, just hanging out. That's been kind of a bummer. Well, my friends, we're gonna call it a day. I got my printout photo with the fam, and boy, it's been a long day. It's fun to meet these people, but the lines are excruciating, especially if they have to go take like a half-hour break or anything like that. It can be kind of tough. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's vlog. Like I said, it was a lot of fun. Thank you for watching, and if you're new here, please hit the like button, please subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Have a great night, and goodbye.